to the entertainment Talking Sports.
What is going on, football fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video as free agency is fast approaching. And one of the biggest areas of need for the New York Giants is the middle linebacker position. It has been one of the biggest areas of need, really, since Antonio Pierce. The team has neglected the draft at the position, and the guys they have brought in have failed miserably, Alec Ogletree being the latest of the bunch. Last year, Alec Ogletree had the worst grade per PFF on the New York Giants football team at 50.1. And this year, it's not much better. I think he's at about 58 or 59. He ranks as a below-average starting middle linebacker in the NFL. And as a matter of fact, he's never in his entire career had a grade above 63. So he was always a bit overrated. He struggles in coverage, and we've seen that week in and week out. Yes, he had a couple of interceptions last year. As a matter of fact, he had 5. But overall, he has been a bad New York Giant, and I expect the New York Giants to probably cut him next year because he is certainly not worth that contract. And when you look out on the open market, yes, we have Conley potentially coming back from an injury, and Conley looked like a ball hawk while he was in there. He came up with a couple of interceptions. He did not grade as good as you would have thought, however. He was at about 57, 58, which is not bad for a rookie that you took in the 5th round. But one guy I was looking at who really impresses me is Cory Littleton of the Rams. He's set to hit the open market, and I think he's going to get a big payday. And the question is he worth it? Well, he certainly fits the age range for the New York Giants. He will only be 27 next year. He was an undrafted free agent in 2016 and has worked his way up the ranks. In 2018, he got to become the starting middle linebacker for the Rams and actually made the Pro Bowl as a special teamer. However, he was very good at the position, and many said he was overlooked as a Pro Bowler. He graded out, I think, at 68. This year, he has taken his game to the next level, and he ranks among the top in the league at the position with a grade of 85. And a big reason for that is his coverage skills, and we'll get into that in a minute. And I think he would really fit this role nicely because he is young. He is getting better year in and year out. He's going to cost a lot of money because of his age and because of his upside. He stands at 6'3", 228 pounds, and he could potentially get better than what he is right now. These are the types of free agents that if the Giants are going to spend big, is where I think they should do it. Guys in that age range, 26, 27. Many would say, look at a Van Noy, look at a Danny Trevathan. Those guys are both going to be 30 and 31 next year. I don't want to touch players like that. This guy grades out well in PFF. He's a good linebacker in coverage, and he's probably headed to a Pro Bowl this year for the Rams. He's been one of the few bright spots, and I don't think the Rams are going to be able to retain him, and we'll get into that in a minute. But before we do, let's take a closer look at Cory Littleton. There's Littleton, and there is his PFF grade of 85.8. To put that in perspective, I wasn't able to see who was the highest graded linebacker this year, but Wagner was tops in the league last year with a grade of 91. So he's pretty close to Bobby Wagner, who has actually regressed this year into the high 60s. And then here is a quote of Cory Littleton that came out, I think, about a week ago. Cory Littleton isn't a household name yet, but perhaps it should be, as the Los Angeles Rams starting linebacker is once again putting together a solid season. At the midway point of the 2019 year, Littleton is graded out as the league's top linebacker in pass coverage per Pro Football Focus. And then I wanted to give you guys a chart of what it will cost. These are the guys that are the highest paid middle linebackers in football. Now, will he get a Bobby Wagner-like contract? Who knows, right? But I think C.J. Mosley is comparable. C.J. Mosley was a very good linebacker for the Ravens. Littleton is around the same age. Mosley's 27, which is the age that he will be next year when he hits free agency. And Mosley got a huge contract from the New York Jets, which is why the Ravens could not retain his services, where he got $17 million a year, 51 of which was guaranteed. So the question is, are you willing to give a guy a 4 or 5 year deal at $17 million per? Maybe you get him for 15 or 16, but that is the going rate for a top tier middle linebacker at his age. And Littleton might fit the bill. Doesn't carry any injury history, and he's coming off of what is pretty much a Pro Bowl year, and he would fill a lot of needs. He also plays the 3-4 system, if indeed the New York Giants decide to stick with that, and would be a very good player to pair alongside Ryan Connolly. Also wanted to take a quick look at this. Now, the reason I think the Rams will not be able to retain him, when you look at the way the Rams have constructed their roster, they've built their team through free agency, and their top-tier contracts are pretty much fully guaranteed. Jared Goff is going to make $36 million next year. They cannot cut him. Aaron Donald will make $25 million. Todd Gurley, $17, and Brandon Cooks at $16. They also acquired Jalen Ramsey in a trade, who's a free agent next year, who I would assume they will try to retain. With all of that, they also probably will not be cutting Robert Woods, as he carries a dead cap hit of half his contract, along with Tyler Higbee. With all of that being said, they only have $25 million in cap space as is. That's before draft needs and the possibility of trying to extend Jalen Ramsey. So I don't expect the Rams to do much in free agency this year, which leaves us with, the fact that I think Littleton will hit the open market, and I think he will be paid handsomely. And I think if the Giants do decide to spend at the middle linebacker position, he may in fact be the guy that the Giants should have their eye on. Joe Schobert's another one, and I'll have a video on him as well. But I think Littleton might very well be my number one option because of his age, because of his ability in pass coverage, and I think he would fit the 3-4 system very nicely. I also think he could play the 4-3. But yeah, keep an eye on Cory Littleton. I like him as a target for the Giants in 2020 free agency at the inside linebacker spot. As always, if you liked what you watched, please subscribe, drop a comment, maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers.